For the new telerecording by VERA. I want you, if you will, to look again at this clock and once again to note the time that it says, which is very nearly 9:20. When this clock jumps back suddenly and my pen disappears, you're on the telerecording by VERA. Evening. I want you, first of all, to look at this clock and to remember the time that it says just after 9:16. Now, the reason for asking you to do this right at the beginning of Panorama tonight has all to do with VERA, the Vision Electronic Recording Apparatus, the new machine which is in program service tonight for the first time at the BBC's research department at Nightingale Square in South London. There she is. You'll say that she looks like a large tape recorder. Well, that's really what it is. Only at the moment, this machine, VERA, is recording this program, Panorama, and it's putting the sound and the picture all together onto a magnetic tape. This is a pretty remarkable achievement in British television, as I hope we'll be able to show you presently. But let me just for the moment ask the scientists down at Nightingale Square if they'll turn VERA off, please. Well, there you are. That's where we came in a way. That was the beginning of Panorama tonight, just about 5 minutes after I first did it. This is now me again, really. Now, possibly my face and that of a clock in the studio aren't a very exacting test for VERA, so we ought to give it something more lively to do. In fact, we have done. I dare say quite a lot of you this evening were watching, a little earlier, 40 minutes or so ago, the Star Ballroom Dancing Championship. That has lots of movement in it, and I think may provide a better test, even if it's people talking and not dancing. However, let's see VERA's recording of that earlier program. Remember this?
Where you'll see the one I call the rat shaker, where a man shakes his partner. Well, but apart from that, the standard's excellent.
Thank you.
Back on the dance floor, we're watching the first of the heats in the second round of the professional championship. There are 2 heats of 14 couples each. The 4 standard dances, as usual. This morning, there were 67 entered for this most important event. Now they're reduced to 28. And at the end of...
Well, there you are. Peter West, Victor Sylvester, Sylvia Peters and all. Now, for the man who was the head of the team that developed this remarkable thing, VERA, Dr. Peter Axon. Dr. Axon, hello. Would you mind telling me what you think are the 3 or the 2 most important characteristics of this machine of yours as far as programs go?
Well, I would say that from the program point of view, the 2 great advantages are, first of all, the immediacy. That is, the speed with which we can replay a recording which we've made. We've just tried to demonstrate that here. The time, in fact, taken to get your program back again is that merely to rewind the tape, start the machines, and there you are. The second advantage is, of course, the potential cheapness of the method. Most people know, I think, that this tape can be erased and used again. That's to say, although we might have made a recording tonight, when we have finished with that recording, we can erase the tape and use it again. So each time we use the tape, the fraction of our cost of film goes down.
May I ask you when this is going to come into program operation for the BBC, other than a special demonstration in programs tonight for Panorama?
Well, as you know, this is a research laboratory, and when the machine is to be put into regular operation, it will have to be taken to Lime Grove Studios, where it will operate under the proper conditions. We are going to do that within the next few days, and we hope to have it in full operation after we've had some practice and tests and got it properly into the system in about 2 months' time.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Dr. Axon. I think you deserve congratulations for what you've done, you and your team, and I'm glad to have a chance of saying so publicly. Many thanks.
Thank you very much.
This is the machine in action. VERA, Vision Electronic Recording Apparatus. VERA. I'm just going to ask Dr. Axon to stop the machine for a moment and give us some idea how it works.
Well, until recently, the only method of recording television pictures has been to photograph them from the television tube using special cameras. This is the film, which most people will be familiar with. After it's been processed and you hold it up to the light, you can see the separate pictures along its length. The machine we have here doesn't use the photographic process at all. Viewers will know that the pictures they get on their television screen are built up from a series of electronic impulses which are coming from the television camera. Our machine records these impulses on magnetic tape and is able to reproduce them again at any time afterwards.
What are the advantages of pictures on tape over pictures on film?
Well, as you know, photographic film has to be processed. This takes time and costs money, and if the operation is done in a hurry, as you know in news operations, there's liable to be some loss of picture quality. With this machine, we get a good quality recording which requires no processing, and it is immediately available for replaying after we have rewound the machine and started it again.
Do you have to use a special type of tape?
No, the tape is much the same as is used for sound recording, only because the television signal is much more complicated, the tape must be wider and we use more of it. We can erase the tape and record another picture when we've finished the recording we had on it.
What sort of problems have you had to solve?
Well, the range of frequencies we have to record is some 200 times as great as that which we have to record in sound recording. This has meant that we have to develop special recording and reproducing heads to deal with this frequency range. Another problem is to keep the tape speed constant with very great accuracy. And thirdly, we had to develop a system which would not be affected by the sort of surface imperfections which we get in all magnetic tapes.
I wonder if you could explain this on the machine itself.
Yes, of course. Well, there is the spool which is supplying tape, which passes over these wheels, down past the recording head there, past the reproducing head here, and is then wound up again on this wheel. The electronic impulses are recorded by that head, and they are immediately available to be looked at by this head just a fraction of a second later. There is the erasing head, which enables us to erase the program we have put on the tape before and record again using, of course, this recording head.
Well, now we've seen how the tape goes through the machine. Could we now see what sort of pictures it reproduces?
Yes, well, now that the machine has started, we can actually see what's going on these two monitors. This monitor is showing the picture which is being transmitted at this time. And on this monitor here, we see the picture as it comes from the machine. Although these two pictures may look the same, they are in fact separated in time. This one is about a 25th of a second behind this one.
Seen that you can monitor the pictures immediately, but how long does it take to reproduce the pictures again?
Well, first of all, we have to rewind the tape. We have actually put the tape in a condition here for rewinding, and we start to rewind by pressing this switch. Now, this rewinding process takes something less than half the time we took to record. And when we have rewound and have threaded the tape again past the head system and started the machine, then our pictures are available immediately.
How long were you working on VERA?
Well, we've been doing serious experiments for about 5 years. And on this particular design, we started about 2 years ago. We've had a central team of about 5 engineers who, of course, have been supported by drawing offices and workshops and all the services which are required to enable this sort of thing to be produced.
Well, when this machine is rewound, the tape's rewound, perhaps we can see the picture we recorded a moment ago.
Yes, when it's rewound, I'll ask someone to thread it and start it again.